Hello folks and fans. Welcome to another edition of Now We're Piping with Dr. Rockwood. Today, I want to talk about the famed dog park pipe. Now I did a video a while back. It was an unboxing video where I was expecting a cheap pipe that I was going to call my dog park pipe, and that's going to be my lunch hour and after work pipe that I take with me to the dog park. Something cheap, something that if it gets beat up, or if it gets trampled, or if it gets wet from rain or snow or whatever, if a dog grabs a hold of it and chews the heck out of it, that I won't be upset about. And it was a Dr. Grabow Grand Duke. When I bought it, I said, okay, I'll give this a shot. 6mm filter, not a filter guy. But I figured, okay, I'll give this a go. This was gonna be the pipe that I mostly smoke pleasant blends out of. And by pleasant blends, I mean, I don't want to lose my smoking privileges at the park, so I'm not going to smoke, the Royal Yacht that kind of has a stinky room note to it. I'll smoke things like McBaron's Vanilla Flake or CAO's Eileen's Dream, So it quickly ended up being my aromatic pipe. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about it. Here it is. By the way, this is a saddle bit, right? You know you're buying a cheap pipe when on the website that you buy it from, which is the site that I normally order my tobaccos and my pipes and my pipe accoutrements from. You know it's going to be a cheap pipe when it says something like, was it? The product received might not match exactly the photo shown on the website or on the order. Just in case you guys don't really know, I'm not a huge fan of the saddle stem. I much prefer a tapered stem. So I was excited to get it, and okay, oh great, it's got a saddle stem. Not only that, it's bowed. You see that? It's not just a saddle stem, it's kind of like bowed in on itself, which I'm not a huge fan of. But, at a quick glance, it just looks like I'm smoking a pipe. I really doubt that anyone at the park, at the dog park, I doubt that anyone there is a pipe expert. For them, all they care about is the smell, the ambient aroma that emanates from my pipe and from my mouth and nostrils. So, let me tell you right off the bat, this pipe sucks. You get what you pay for. But it's okay, this is my aromatic pipe, and like I said, I only smoke aromatics when I go to the dog park. And I only smoke aromatics at the dog park more or less after work, when I go for the second walk of the day, and we end up there because there tends to be more people there at that time than there are at lunch. I can get away with smoking English. I smoked Peterson's University Flake at the park today. That does have a little bit of a plum dark fruit top note to it, so probably didn't stink too bad. But anyway, I just don't want to lose my smoking privileges there. So I smoke aromatics. I made the mistake of smoking Blood Red Moon in this for a day at the park. And then today I went to go put in some beautiful, delicious McBaron vanilla flakes, which I think are probably the only aromatics I really do fully enjoy. McBaron does put out a pretty good Cavendish, and their Virginias are on point, I think. Yeah. I think McBaron Vanilla Flake is probably the only aromatic that I actually enjoy to the point that I look forward to smoking it when I take the dog out for a walk. But no matter. This pipe really sucks. First of all, the stem's not even acrylic. Like, it's an even cheaper plastic. It's like, I can bend it, you know. That's how cheap it is. It says imported briar on the thing, on the box when I got it. I don't know where it's imported from. It's a V-shaped bowl, which I hate to begin with. But I'm not gonna ding it points for having a V-shaped bowl. I will ding it points though for the fact that it's not drilled properly. There's a solid maybe 3 millimeters from the heel of the bowl up to where the air hole is actually drilled in. So there's like the air hole comes in and then the bowl continues underneath it. Like, it's not drilled properly at all. But what do you expect for a $30 pipe? The grain on it is pretty much non-existent. They say it's briar, but I don't know how well you guys can see that. That's one side. And that's the other. So it's a pretty cheap briar. Hardly any bird's eye. There's no flame. This looks more like ash than anything. All right, but we are safe in the knowledge that Dr. Grabow does use briar. Again, drilled for a 6 mil. I've been using the 6 mil. I'm not a filter smoker usually, but this thing is pretty much just clenched in my mouth for an hour. I hardly touch it, especially now when it's freaking minus 30 out. Because if my, I don't really wear gloves when I'm smoking because I need to feel what I'm doing, and I gotta, feel the ash going down as I tamp it, and I'd like to feel my fingers hitting the striker on my lighter, so it's really hard to wear gloves as a smoker, as a pipe smoker, I find. So I just tend to clench it and keep my hands in my pockets. So from the time we leave the house to the time we get back inside over lunch is usually about an hour, and this thing stays in my jaw for an hour. It's a comfortable clencher because, as I said, the plastic on the mouthpiece is just so, I don't want to use the word cheap nor frugal, but it's just so malleable, let's say, that it provides a natural cushion. So that's one thing it's got going for it. The other thing is it looks like a pipe and it acts like a pipe. It smokes like a pipe. If it wasn't for the filter, this thing would gurgle hard. So I am grateful for the filter because, first of all, I really got to puff on this thing just to keep it going and to keep it lit. So first red flag. It's not drilled properly. Second red flag. This thing is squishy to the point where, like, when you bite down on it, you feel the plastic give. Third red flag, but also a positive. So I'll take one red flag off, so we're at 2 red flags. It does the trick. You can smoke an entire bowl, and if you use the filter, it'll soak up pretty much all the moisture. Here is the filter that I used today. I smoked half a bowl of the Vanilla Flake by McBaron, and half a bowl, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see that, hang on. With half a bowl, that's kind of how, like, black and disgusting. So this was the end facing, the bowl, and this was the end facing the mouthpiece. And I don't know if it's focusing or not, but here's hoping. Yeah. So half a bowl is all it took for this thing to get charred, so you can only imagine how wet it was smoking. and how nasty it would have been had this not. Oh, you hear that? There's a little air pocket. Little air pocket and the wood just opened up. There we go. Anyway, you can only imagine how nasty the smoke would have been. Also, it just sort of gave under the pressure of my fingers. A fresh pipe filter wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Anyway, I'm glad it's capturing some of the bad stuff, but I find that with a Dr. Grabow like this, in order to be able to have an enjoyable smoke, you pretty much need to have a filter. There's no way around it, in my opinion. Oh, another thing, and I don't know how well you'll be able to pick up on this. Let me see if I can try. You see that? It's not drilled. It's literally cut. You've got this, there it is. You've got this rectangular opening. It's a super open draft hole. Sorry, there's a little bit of gunk in there. Normally, mouthpieces and stems would be drilled through at, I think it's like a 34th of an inch or something like that. Whereas this thing literally is sliced through in a rectangular fashion. Right, you get this like long rectangle of open space all the way through it. So it kind of speaks to quality of this thing. I honestly think these mouthpieces are like molded into shape rather than being shaped and then drilled into fitting the shank. So yeah, plastic glory. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of update you guys on how this pipe was holding up. It still smokes fine, and by fine I mean you really need to have a filter in it so you don't get any of that glop in your mouth, because the draft is super open, as you've seen, and because it's not drilled properly, so you're going to end up with a lot of gurgle and a lot of dawdle. So you pretty much need to have a filter in this thing in order to have an enjoyable smoke. For 30 bucks, would I get another one? Only if I were to use it for the same purpose. That's the answer to that question. If it's, like, you know, you got that pair of running shoes that you don't care if you get dirty, your shit kickers. Same thing with that. This is my shit kicking pipe. So that's where I stand on it. With that, I want to say thanks very much, and I hope you have a good one. See you next time. Bye-bye.